Hello, folks. This is Mr. Hooker talking to you today about supply. We're going to finish, well, not finish, but this will get us a good bit of way through supply and equilibrium in this video. So let's go ahead and get started. So, as you saw in the last video, the definition of demand, this one will hit on the definition of supply. Here we go. So, it is basically the same. Um, when I created these things, I kind of just sort of copy pasted and then changed a couple of words um, to buy to produce and sell, and change buy to produce and sell. And pretty much the rest of it is the same. So, supply is the ability and willingness to produce or sell a specific quantity of a good or service at alternative prices, ceteris paribus. It is pretty much the same kind of thing. Firms don't have the same kind of problems that consumers have. They have a whole different set of problems, especially startup firms. So let's talk about startup type firms and small firms mostly in this. Large firms don't have those types of problems. It's a whole different thing for them. But startups and small firms, ability and willingness. Can you produce the good, and do you want to produce the good? Typically, yes. If you got in business, you want to produce the good. Remember, the goal of every firm is to maximize profit. If you learn nothing else from this class, the goal of every firm is to maximize profit. So yes, they want to produce the good. The question is, can they produce the good? And really, it's not so much just can they produce the good. You have to add that can to this next colored phrase, specific quantity. Can you produce the specific quantity that is being asked of you? So if you're a startup and you're in grandma's garage, sure, you can produce 100, you can probably even produce 500, but can you produce 5,000? And that may be where the problem lies. So, yes, you can produce some, but can you produce enough? And there may be the problem. Now you need to go out and somehow secure funding to get a real production facility, because grandma's garage is not really going to cut it. So, do you have the ability and willingness to produce the specific quantity that will allow you to do what you need to do of a good or service at alternative prices? So, can you do this so that you are at market price? And we will talk about that in future chapters and get to that. Are you really going to be at the market price, or are you going to be like somewhere off of that? And so, this is the BS clause that I told you we would get back to at supply, and we are. So, just like consumers can't ask for a $500 car, if we stick with the car thing, Ford can't ask to sell a Focus at $80,000. It just ain't worth it. So, understand that we really have to be at market price, both on the demand and the supply side. Everybody has to be seeking that, has to be trying to sell at that market price. And if not, there are going to be issues. Ceteris paribus, all else being equal, we're just looking at that point where, hey, are we at that, are we just looking at the point where as price moves, that's what moves quantity supply? So that's all we're looking for that. All right. So supply, that scheduler curve that shows various amounts of product the producers are willing and able to make. The supply schedule, once again, is a table. It's numbers. The supply curve is the graph. It's pictures. The amount producers are willing and able to sell at a given price. And we have the individual supply and the market supply. So once again, individual, one firm, one household. Market, sum them up. Once again, sum them on the quantity on the horizontal. Law of supply, other things equal. As price goes up, quantity supplied goes up. And as price falls, the quantity supplied falls. So there is a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. And this is pretty simple. Firms are motivated by profit, and therefore, as price goes up, they say that, oh, yeah, I'm going to make some money, and they jump in. So firms that aren't in will jump in, and firms that are in are going to jump in even more. And so that is how that goes. So price is an incentive to producers, and at some point costs will rise. We'll get to that in chapter 9, and you will see how that really looks. So a quick explanation for this is firms are greedy. Also, not really a bad thing. Firms are greedy in the pursuit of normal profits. And if they didn't believe they could make money selling you a good, they wouldn't make it and you wouldn't have it, and we'd all be sad. Now, if they are chasing excessive profits, understand that becomes a problem, excuse me. So there's where that goes. So supply of gas, once again, at $5. Firms want to sell 60 gallons, and at 4 they want to sell 50, and at 1 they only want to sell 5. So they don't want to sell much at low prices. They want to sell a lot at high prices. That is their motivation. So let's go back to the whiteboard here real quick. So, I thought I was on that. Maybe not. We'll stay on black. Oh, come on now. So supply, we got A, we got B, that's P1, that's P2, that's Q1, that's Q2. So once again, A to B, just like it was for demand, is a change in quantity supplied. Caused by a change in price. And it's called a movement. This happens first. Yeah, come on now. And that happens second. That's how that goes. Still. Let's do this one. If we throw S2 and S3 in the mix, S1 to S2 is a change in supply. It's a shift. It's also an increase caused by a determinant of supply. There's 6 of those. S to S3 is a decrease. It's also a change in supply. It's also a shift, but that is a decrease. Remember, anything to the right is an increase. Anything to the left is a decrease. So even though it is down going S to S2, it is to the right. So it is still an increase. So don't even worry about the whole the down and up thing. What you were worried about is right and left things. Down and up don't matter so much. It is that is the whole piece of it. All right. All right. And there we go. There's your increase to the right, decrease to the left. S1 S S1 to S2 is an increase. S2 to S1 to S3 is a decrease. Here are your determinants of supply. A change in resource prices. So basically, if you think of a chair, like the chairs, if you've ever been to the college, those plastic chairs, which hopefully we're getting new ones in McWhorter, but those those hard plastic chairs. You got plastic, some metal, cheap metal, and some screws with labor. If the price of labor goes up, the supply of chairs goes down. All right, that's basically what you're looking at. If the price of labor goes down, then basically the supply of chairs goes up. That is the way that goes. That's the econ class answer. And that's what you need to know. In real life, it depends. Change in technology, always up. Basically, if a change in technology happens that is not usable or not good for the public, what we do is we don't use it. Think Windows Vista, if you were around when that happened. It was terrible, and so people just didn't use it. Changes in taxes and subsidies. So if we increase taxes on a good, those taxes go to the consumer, and consumers just basically, well, those taxes could go to the, even if they are on the consumer, they kind of get passed back to the firm, and they decrease supply. So basically, it's called tax incidence. And so even if you put a tax on the consumer will in some way pass some of that tax back to the firm, and therefore supply will decrease on that good. So if any tax that is done, if you lower taxes, that will increase supply. Subsidies. So basically, if you have these things where we do, and you may have heard, like where we try to get people to move to the area, businesses are looking to relocate. We try to get them to move here. Smith and Wesson recently located up in Maryville. Amazon moved here. So through economic development, we do certain things. We may offer subsidies for that. We may offer tax incentives as well. Those subsidies that we may offer would increase supply. So possibly we say, hey, we will pay some of your electric. We will pay some of the cost of building your building. We will pay your water, whatever, for a number of years. So that's just basically some of those things that you will do to get businesses to move here. And what that does is causes them to increase supply, hire more people, and hopefully increases employment in your area. So those are some of the ways that happens. Price and other goods. This is not the same as it was in demand. This is substitutes in production. Easiest way to look at this, and you can move this to any kind of production line really, but look at cars, automobiles. Auto manufacturers can make cars. They can make SUVs. They will make the one that is most profitable. They can also make trucks, right? So basically, they will change the ones that are most profitable. They have learned here in the U.S. that the things that are most profitable for them are SUVs and trucks. So most U.S. automakers have quit making cars in the U.S. It's just what it is. So that is the change in the price of other goods. So change in producer expectations. It's basically the same as it was for consumers, except they do not care about your future income. It is all about future price, and exactly opposite of what it was for demand. So if they believe that the future price is going up, they would like to sell at the future higher price. And so supply will go down now. Future price, they will try to sell at the higher future price. And if they believe the future price is going down, supply will go up now, so that they will avoid selling at the lower future price. Number of sellers is once again just straight math. 100 people will sell more than 10. 1,000 will sell more than 100, 100,000 will sell more than 1,000, and 1,000,000 will sell more than 100,000. You want a lot of sellers. Competition is good for you as a consumer. Okay, gives you a higher quality product at a lower price. So you want as much competition as possible. This movie will be linked in this econ movie will be linked in class. Market equilibrium. It is not a happy place. It is a market clearing place. So equilibrium occurs where the demand curve and supply curve intersect. Think of it this way. At equilibrium, consumers would be happy at a lower price and firms would be happier at a higher price. But at equilibrium, consumers are willing to buy everything that consumers are willing to sell at that price. And therefore, it is a market clearing price. So it's not necessarily a happy price. It's just basically where we get equilibrium price and quantity. We have no, there's no surplus or shortage at that price. So a surplus is when we have excess quantity. So the price is too high, and so quantity demanded is less than quantity supplied. Shortage is when the price is too low and quantity demanded is higher than quantity supplied. And so what we have is the rationing function of prices, which basically what that will do is the rationing function of prices basically comes through and says if the price is too high, firms see that, hey, they have too much stuff and they put that stuff on sale, put it in the clearance bin, whatever, and they start lowering the price. And as they lower the price, they get rid of goods. And this is why people love sales. And if it's too low, then they realize that and they start higher, raising the price until basically we get to that point. And that's how we get efficient allocation of stuff. So there's two efficiencies. So if you ever hear somebody say, hey, I'm an efficiency expert or I'm an efficiency person, they are probably efficient. They're probably productively efficient. They produce goods in the least costly way. They are used to using the best technology and they use the right mix of resources. There is nothing wrong with being productively efficient. It's a great thing, right? Allocative efficiency only happens with one market structure. It doesn't happen much. It is what it is, though. So allocative efficiency is producing the right mix of goods. It's the combination of goods most highly valued by society. So basically, think if we were producing wagons and society wanted 100 red wagons. No green wagons, no yellow wagons, no blue wagons, just 100 red wagons. And we produced 100 red wagons. No blue, no yellow, no green. Then we were allocatively efficient. We produced exactly what society asked for, no more, no less, exactly. And then we were allocatively efficient. We did not waste any of society's resources. And that's the point of allocative efficiency. Equilibrium price and quantity. The idea is there's always pressure toward equilibrium because if you're not at equilibrium and there's no government interference, there will always be pressure toward it because anytime we're off, firms are trying to basically get rid of any surplus or any, if there's a shortage, they're trying to make sure that consumers aren't gathering any kind of surplus, any kind of producer surplus from them. And we'll talk about that later. But so they're trying to make sure that we get to equilibrium. So there's always that pressure toward equilibrium. It's like trying to find that mystery intersection in the night. So that's basically what is going on with this graph here. At a price of 4, there's a 6,000 gallon surplus. At a price of 2, there's a 7,000 gallon shortage. At a price of 3, we have equilibrium. So there's always going to be that pressure there. The rationing function of prices is the ability of the competitive forces of demand and supply to establish that price where selling and buying decisions are consistent. All right, so that is equilibrium and supply. Everybody have a great day. Next up will be shifts for demand and supply. Take care.